Hi there, welcome to Leadershipization, all things leadership. I'm Beth Bergen. I'm a leadership and communication coach, and I work with executives, managers, business owners, and very often I work with their teams as well. Look, I'm seriously below par today. However, what's important to me is consistency. And so I've popped the red lippy on and I am here doing the best that I possibly can for you today, because it's really important, firstly, to demonstrate consistency, but also it's really important that we follow up on the things that we say that we're going to do. And so that's why I'm here today. I want to follow up on last week's session, which was all about personal branding. So let's start by me giving you a bit of a quick recap of the things that we covered. We looked at the things, what it is for you to identify, what it is that differentiates you, and to understand that your personal branding is quite different from your reputation. It's quite different from the work that you've done. It's how others see you, and it's really an intentional thing for you to get out there and to establish. And it's all about knowing what you stand for. So is it integrity? Are you creative? Are you a really curious person? What are those things that you stand for? And you can align yourself then to the organizational goals. It's also a natural step when you're working on your personal branding to determine who your power base is. And this is those people who are your greatest supporters, your mentors and your sponsors, those people who might be on the fence, those who are your nemesis, but also those that you want to be seen by, those that you want to be seen by, so that what you're able to do then is to look at ways that you can actively make yourself visible. And I reminded you at the end of last week's session that it's really important that you own this, that you own your own personal branding and you take responsibility for it, because this is your career. It's not mine, it's not anybody else's, it's your career. So today what I wanted to do what I'm going to do is to look at some mistakes that you can make in your personal branding that might actually cost you the job. Because one of the first places that people look when they're looking to recruit you is they'll Google you. They'll Google you, and what they see is your personal brand. And very often that's before they've actually met you in person, before you've had a chance to represent yourself in person. So let's have a look at what mistakes might be. The first thing is, if you are an aspiring team leader, manager, business owner, if this is where you see yourself going on in your career path, this relates to you. But also, really importantly, if you are an existing leader or manager, this applies to you as well. If you've got a LinkedIn profile that's weak, it's out of date, or it's incomplete, then that's your personal branding. That's representing you. And these days, this is often the first place that someone will go to check you out. So what can you do about that? Well, take ownership of it, ramp it up. Think about a professional photo, a really great headline, highlight your strengths, highlight some career goals, your experience, and what your values and your passions are. And if you don't know what you're doing on LinkedIn, invest in yourself by finding a LinkedIn coach, someone who knows about it, who can help you to get your best branding out there to represent you. Okay? This is where they're going to look, so it's up to you to improve it. The second thing is this: have you Googled yourself lately? Are there a whole lot of controversial comments in there? Are there inappropriate posts? Think about it and make sure that on a regular basis you're creating positive content, but also on a regular basis that you go back and you clean up stuff that might be totally irrelevant, that might be deemed to be unprofessional. If you need to, then change, have two different profiles, one for your friends, or use the ability on your profile to only have some things sent to your friends, and make sure that that's what you're actively doing rather than just putting everything out there for everyone else. There would be many people who've missed out on jobs because that's where the employer or the recruitment people are going to. They're going to go to your LinkedIn and your Facebook, your Instagram, or whatever profiles you might have. The third one I want to raise with you is sometimes we sound like a lone voice talking ourselves up. Be confident about asking for testimonials or recommendations so that you can build your credibility. So, there's a recommendation. You can recommend people on LinkedIn. Ask people if they'll do that for you, and ask them to write a comment so that that's helpful. Post those recommendations or those testimonials on a regular basis. On my coaching page, I think once a week or at least once a fortnight, I've got a specific template that I use for putting posts, for putting testimonials into. So include that on your LinkedIn profile. But all the time, what you're doing here is amplifying your brand. These are people who say what you say works for them as well. The next one is, we all love a great story, and you've heard about that elevator pitch. You've probably heard about a number of different ways that you can actually pitch yourself. I want you to make sure that you do have a pitch, because not having that brand pitch about yourself can go against you. It's create that pitch and think about or include in there how you applied your skills and your knowledge, for example, with problem solving, with leadership, with successes that you've had, and make that pitch relevant to the jobs that you want so that it's impactful and it's short. It's not going to be a great big rambling one that goes on and on and on. There are a number of different ways that you can do that. There's the STAR, there's the C method, there are a number of different ways. It's important that it's memorable. Now, sometimes it's really hard for us to actually come up with these stories yourself. Ask other people what they've noticed about you that you think is worth promoting in that work environment. But it's a real mistake to not have that brand pitch. Finally, it's really easy for us to be very wishy-washy. Very wishy-washy. So what's important, I'll give you some examples of that. What's really important is that you have clarity. You have some clarity about who you are, what you stand for, and what makes you you, and what makes you unique. Yeah? So get clarity about that in your own head. And then start, when you've planned out how you're going to stay visible, and this might mean visible on your LinkedIn page, across your social media, where you're not this lone voice, stay active and be visible. So consistently be posting or consistently be putting information out there so that it's not a matter of, whoa, suddenly for 3 weeks there's lots and lots of it, and then there's next to nothing for 6 weeks or 9 weeks, and then, whoa, there's a whole lot more. Try and be consistent with that kind of thing. Use LinkedIn to comment and be reading. Join various groups in LinkedIn. Make sure that your message across your social media platforms is consistent and that it supports your branding. Not goes against it. And think about sharing content that's relevant to the role or the industry that you're in, and also attend industry events so that others see you there. And make sure that when you're there, you network and you're actually consistently sharing a message with people. Try going to those events that have people at them who are people on your I want to be seen power base. Yeah. Now, it's right about now that people often say to me, oh, what is this power base thing? How do I develop a power base? If you're interested in learning more about how to build your power base, just reach out to me. It's something that I can get you started on in 2 or 3 coaching sessions, so that what you're doing is actively putting together a plan on who you want to, probably 3 sessions would be ideal, who you want to, who is already on your power base, so that you can go and start talking to them and getting their feedback on who you are and how you can achieve what you want to achieve. But also, more importantly, or as importantly, those people who you want to be seen by. That's really important. Okay, that's it for today. So if you've got any questions or comments, please pop them in the chat. And I will get back to you with those. If you've got any topics that you would like me to cover, please reach out. More than happy to take your comments and your questions on board. If you've watched replay, please put hashtag replay. That would be awesome. It gives me an idea of who's watching and how, my goal is to really support you with topics about leadership, which is why it's called Leadershipisation, all things leadership. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you next week, and I know by then I am going to be feeling